Okay, so this this is a little bit of a horror story. Nothing violent to upset the viewers, just more of the cringe factor. So where do I start? Well, I was 6 years old, and it was just the time when my father and mother had presented me with my first die-cast model of a motor car of the era. It was a dinky car. I believe it was made by the Meccano manufacturers. And so from 6 onwards, I would gather cars with my pocket money, one a week. So between 6 and 12, maybe 13, I was collecting dinky toys, precision made, die cast cars, excellent precision engineering, beautiful little models. They were within my range for the pocket money that I had available. And I bought these cars, one a week, sometimes 2 if I was really feeling rich. And they came with the boxes, and my father was pretty handy. He'd made me a wooden garage, and within that garage I used to house a lot of these cars until they became too numerous, and then they'd be placed into a cupboard. So where's this leading? Nothing horrendous about that. Well, work out 2 cars, no, let's say 1 car a week, 50 weeks for 12 years. 600 cars? Would that be right? 50 a week times 6. I can't be bothered to work it out. Such a nice day. I think the sun's taken an effect. Anyhow, from there, maybe it's a couple of years later, I got into the comic era. And that was really something special. I became a big fan of the Superman and Batman heroes. And I would probably collect maybe 2 or 3, maybe it's even more, of each type of comic per week. And within that same period, say between 8 and 15 probably, there would be another batch of comics that would gather and gather and gather. And me being a neat and tidy person who likes to keep things pristine and clean, I used to keep them in a box, out of harm's way, and make sure that only I read them. I think they only had my fingerprints on them. And so 3 or 4 a week, 200 a year, a couple of thousand. So where's this all going? Where is the horror in that? Well, I'll tell you. When I got married, as we do, it was time to move on. Times were hard, and the accommodation initially set up for the marital life was a little bit Spartan, bit short of space. So I assumed if I left my dingy cars and the comics in a safe place, they would be there ready to collect as and when I required them. And so time marched on, got married, moved into the new abode, managed to find my feet, and then I decided it was time to bring all my little collections under one roof with me where they belonged. My mother, bless her soul, she'd thrown them out. she thought I didn't need them. In the bin. Well, I was pretty upset to say the least. But you know, you're talking about precision made die-cast cars, dingy toys of, I remember one special one I had was a Foden lorry. God, my pride and joy. A Bedford van Kodak livery. A Studebaker. It goes on and on. Anyhow, I got over the shock. But then in the line of business that I'm in, doing my routine calls, I came upon a toy auction establishment within my own catchment area. And I got talking about these dingy toys and comics, and the guy asked me, you know, how many did you have? 50 a week, 50 a year, 6 years. I'm just about to burst into tears. He asked me, did you keep the boxes? Oh, the boxes were as pristine as the cars. And was there any marks on them? Clean, absolutely clean. And then we got onto the comics. How many comics? Well, say a couple of hundred a year, 1,200, maybe it's 2,000 comics. And he said, you better sit down. And then the cringe factor created, oh God. If it wasn't for all these people walking about, I'd be bursting into tears. Today's value of an average dingy car that's been well kept and boxed is between £200 and £300. Comics, depending on how far they went back, what issues there were, what dates. I'll give you an example. There's one comic that's really just come for $250,000. But yes, let's say on average each comic was worth about 100, 150 quid. What my mother had thrown out, unbeknown to me, was something to the tune. I don't like to talk big money when people are passing. Close on, coming up to about 50 to 70,000 pounds. Down the sluice, down the pan. So you see, that's my horror story, my cringe factor story for all to listen to. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this and sharing with me what could have been. But life is meant to be what it's meant to be. And I certainly wasn't meant to be £70,000 richer. But I thought I would just like to share that story with you. Who knows? Somebody may pick it up one day. Somebody may say, hey, are you the guy that lost all those dingy cars? Well, we found a crate of them in a skip, blah, 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 and we've kept them ever since. Yeah, and cows will fly. But, never mind. This is a beautiful day. So thank you for listening to me. Maybe if this gets enough views, I'll come back with another story. I'm sure I can dig up another horror story. Why don't you join me again sometime? Thanks for tuning in. Over and out.